Oh, you always want to be giving a class in space.
That's the way everybody's gonna see it.
Yeah.
Oh my. Devil.
Let me get you. Yeah, well. Live on Facebook. But were people like hanging out till late, or would would you stay up like with other people from the community, or you're just kind of like we're more family driven, want to sleep
No,
early?
everybody's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the community pool people will go there.
Large houses.
Right.
9-bedroom houses.
Right, right.
I mean, you could get it with small. I went to 2 families. So you could what? Would you say?
Can you? The people go to the community area in those communities to like?
They have a community thing.
Yeah, I know. I've been to them.
But the men can't go. It's like a lazy river, water. You know. I mean, they have a tennis courts also. They have tennis courts and they have very interesting.
But all the parks are open, like normal.
The park. The theme parks. I think I didn't go, but I think they're open. They're cheaper, open. I was on the Disney property because we went to cable cars. Take my family on these. Yeah.
There's a lot of entertainment around the parks. Yeah?
Uh,
That's where you were?
What?
That's where you were? Around?
I was 15 minutes away, but I drove there to go to cable cars that like transport you from one part to the other, so it's free. So we went on, you know. So over there, whenever you get on Disney Grand, there's 100 workers. Just their job is to save the world, to make sure that the whole face is covered with mess the whole time.
Yeah, you know how much because of the liability. It's a huge liability.
That's the whole shot, right?
That's a hope shot. That's a hope shot. Why also some schools are crazy and they don't want people that are 65 and above to go inside schools because it's a liability.
It's a religious.
I'm telling you
Yeah.
that these institutions, which I know many,
I'm nervous about that.
especially when they're owned and run by, let's call it whatever people, like one person or 2 people, whatever, that's what they do. They don't allow 65 and up because of that reason. It's too much of a liability. People get sick. Oh, it came from the shul. They can sue the shul, which is sad.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Rabbi. Do you have to leave at a specific time today?
By 8:40.
Oh yeah. Are we going to be able to get stuff done?
I think so.
Okay.
It's not that long. Okay. Almost done.
This is very slow. What's going on?
Rabbi, where are we? I went by.
We're now by the 2 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ballot on the base. Near the bottom, there are 2 dots. 4B.
4B.
Yeah, near the bottom.
I need 1 more minute, Rabbi. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Something's going on here. What's up, Daniel? How you doing?
Hey, Michael, what's up? You hear me?
Daniel, come on. You can speak to me, buddy.
You hear me?
Oh, it's on microphone.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, wait. There we
Yeah.
go. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to connect the rabbi's microphone. Tell me if it sounds any better than my voice right now, okay? Hold on, okay?
Yeah.
Rabbi, can you talk for a second?
Huh?
Can you talk? Just talk to me.
Hi. How's everybody? Does everybody hear me clearly? Good morning.
It's a little bit muffled.
Hold on. Wait, when you talk, I have to, okay, so does it sound better?
It's a little muffled.
Okay, so,
Still muffled?
hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay, try again. Tell me now.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, it's better, but it's a little muffled
Good
still.
morning.
How is it now? Is it okay?
I don't hear yet.
Okay, so I'm not gonna connect this microphone then because that could be a problem and it won't sound if you're not hearing it, then that's gonna be an issue. So just be normal. And you already got your tickets to Uman, right?
Yeah, of course.
Just want to make sure. You know, actually, I just got a phone call from the BRI. They told me that they're gonna only have 2 per room. That's the max.
Oh, they're opening? I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. He called me yesterday. It's gonna be 2 per room, and Bezrat Hashem. But and all the food is gonna be takeout from what's his name?
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about? From Shiner.
Yeah. Oh, from China. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Shiner to go.
I don't know. I would love to go. I don't see this as a very sensible thing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be plenty of people. It's going to be coming back infected and big balagan there. I think it's my wife won't let me go. Well, that's not even the reason. I mean, I'm not comfortable going. I wish. I've been going for the last 9 years. So it's really, I'm missing out. I really want to go.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't see this going down anywhere soon either. You know, the numbers are still not good, and we don't know. Well, we'll see. You have to be very careful when you go. Even how are you going to get there from the airport? You know, are you going to take a little taxi like a local guy? Are you going to sit with this guy for 3 hours in the car without any ventilation in? Yeah, you have to think about all these things, you know, all situations that you get yourself or that, you know, you're in. It's tough.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let because we're running out of time and this laptop is just really giving me a rough
I can
time.
hear the rabbi. I can
No,
hear.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. It's just that we're trying to put this on Facebook, but the internet here is becoming strange.
I mean, if that's what it is, if that's the best, let's just start. Let's just go.
Wait, hold on. Now I got it through. We're good. Hold on. Yeah, let's just start.
Yeah, put that background on. You just make it very.
You want it back or you don't care? You don't want it back.
I don't know. Just like
It's just because of it. It's very dark. That's why.
oh
That's better now.
no, you could put just maybe one that was a little nicer. One with the palm trees.
I promise you, he's not in Orlando right now.
You know, and then my head is cut off on top. You realize?
You have to get like that.
No, it's still cut off. I think it's because of the picture. If you put it back to the regular background here, it doesn't happen.
We're not gonna get cut off because it's not that. Let's just start.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, says the Heilige Gemara. We're on Daf Dalid Amud Bet. Good morning, everyone. Right by the 2 dots. Dalid Amud Bet by the 2 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom. Okay, so now the Mishnah said that if you're mavui, that alleyway, that road, that street that the Chatzeris opened up into, right? and it's closed by 3 sides. So it's really Rishut HaYachid Midoraita, and you can carry it. But Chachamim said, don't carry there, because you might mix it up with the Rishut HaRabim, because the masses are there. Therefore, the only way you can carry there is if you have either a lechi, a standing stick on the side, or a korah. We're going to deal with the korah more now today. Well, at least the first part of today. The korah across, the beam across. So it said, if it's too high, yima'it. Lower it. If it's higher than 20 amot, according to the Chachamim, and that's what we rule like in the Gemara, in the Mishnah, you lower the height of the korah. Now there are 2 ways to lower the height of the korah. Way number 1 is to lower the korah. The other way is to higher the ground, the area of the ground. So now your korah is not 20 amot above you. There's 2 ways to shorten the gap, to fill in that gap of 2, right? Because you can't have the halal, the ear space, of more than 20 amot. So if it was 21 amot, there's 2 ways of doing it. So the Gemara asks as follows. In the second way of doing it, let's say you want to lift the floor. How are you going to lift the floor? Either by placing more earth there, or, for example, you want to put like an itztava. Itztava is like a stage, like a slab of rock. You have a little stage, whatever it's made out of. So the question is, in that way, if it was 20 amot high, more than 20 amot high, and you come to make it shorter, how much width do you have to be ma'it? Well, I already let the cat out of the bag. First of all, the Gemara says kama ma'it. How much do you have to be ma'it? So the Gemara says kama ma'it, kama d'tzorich le. What do you mean how much? However much you need. If it's 22 amot, you need to go down 2. If you're 23, you need to go down 3. What's the question? That's how much you go down. So the Gemara says ella rochbay bekama. The width. How wide? I'll give you an example. Let's say right here, you see this table. I always show you this table here is the Rishut HaRabim. Okay, and your tables is the Mavi leading into the Rishut HaRabim. So there we have, and it's 21 amot high. So you got to go down. You have to go bring it down at least 1 amah. So here I'm going to put this stage right over here into the mavui, and there my korah, my beam is now. Imagine this takes up this chumash here, this stage takes up the whole. It's going across the whole thing, but the Gemara wants to know how deep inside does this chumash have to be? How wide? Right, and I call deep into the how wide. The Gemara says, and how deep into the mavui does it have to go? Does it have to be a stage that is as wide as the korah? And how wide is the korah? 1 tefach. So this is 1 tefach, and it matches up with the korah. Everything, you're in business, or more than that. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef Amar tefach. Rabbi Yosef says 1 tefach. Okay, because as long as you have the area beneath the korah that is less than 20 amot. So there's one little area in your mavui. That means the rest of your mavui, when you look at your korah is more than 20 amot. But when you get to underneath the korah and you stand up on that stage, you're not more than 20 amot. You're good. That width. Abaye, his Talmud said, Abba. No, it has to be 4 tefachim. That means if the korah is 1 tefach over here, that has to go into the mavui. The width of it has to be 4 tefachim. Why would it need 4 tefachim? So the Gemara wants to explain the machlokes as follows. Lema b'haka miftaki. The man do omar tefach kostovar muter l'shtamesh tachas hakorah. He says as follows. Okay, now we're getting into Eruvin over here. Okay, ready? So he said like this: You're allowed to. How does the korah work? Okay, according to this explanation, now the way the korah works is that For example, let's say there's the Korah up there, yeah? Goes across the whole thing. This is it. It's one tefach wide. So this man, the Amma holds like this. You're allowed, in a regular story, not in this case where you had to lift it up, a regular nice story of Korah, you're allowed to carry underneath this also. Like you're carrying all the way there the whole time, and then you get to the Korah. There's no red light over here. You continue carrying beneath this area until the end of the Korah. Why? Because the way it works, the way that the Korah allows us to carry in this whole Mavui, is because the Chachamim said you have to close off the fourth side. If you put a Korah there, the outer edge of the Korah, Pi Tikra Yored B'Soisim. You can hear that word many times throughout the Masechta. That means the mouth of the Tikra, of the beam, Yored goes down V'Sotem and closes off. It says, there's a rule, Allah said this goes like this. So now, the fourth side has just been closed off. So anything within the Korah, that's part of the Mavui, and you can carry it. Aha. So he says, so this man the Omer says, since I can carry beneath the Korah, and when I'm there, so there's an area, okay, here's my stage. As long as my stage is the same width, let's say this is the same width, and this is all the way up there, this is the beam, and this is the stage. So if I'm walking on this, sorry for those who are watching online, it's hard for me to show you the examples. Even over here, they can't see it. So lift it up. So if the area of the stage is as wide as the Korah, so there's an area where people will walk and notice the Korah, because people can't notice things higher than 20, we said. But within 20, you could. Is there any area in your Mavui that your eye will catch the Korah? Yes, there is, on the stage, because that's not higher than 20. Yeah, but you can't carry on the stage. Yes, I can, because I can carry everything beneath the Korah. So since there's an area of the Mavui that's part of the Mavui, meaning a place that I will be able to carry it, that's part of the Mavui, that I will be able to notice the Korah. So then let the Korah, therefore the Korah now can work, and it will do its job like a mechitza, and it will come down and everything will be fine. That's why all I need is the width of the Korah, which is one tefach. That's what Rabbi Yosef calls. Abaya, his Talmud. He says, no, you know why? Umanda Omer Abo Kasovar also the Shtamish Tachas HaKorah. He says, no, you need 4. Why? Because he says, you're not allowed to carry them. You know why you can't carry them? Because that the Korah, all the way, this Korah, this is the beam, this is the inner part of the Korah, right? This is the outer part of the Korah. Because the Mavui goes this way. It's the inside part that gets closed off. It's this mouth that goes down. Okay? So this mouth goes down. So the Mavui starts from within here and onwards. Everything here, out here, is Mavui that has not yet been corrected. So you're never allowed to carry in this little area.
So one says you can, and one says you can't.
Exactly. And why? Why? Because it depends on which part of the Korah goes down with this law. So if the inner part of the Korah went down, this area was left without a Korah going down. So you can't carry there. Once you can't carry there, if the width of my stage is only the width of my Korah, let's say this is the stage, and they're the same width, so where are you going to be able to catch the Korah and see it? Only on the stage. But the stage area is not an area that's going to be permissible to carry. It's not part, it's only afterwards, right? It's only within. So what is it going to help that I have an area here that I can see the Korah? I have to be able to see the Korah in an area that the Korah is actually going to help. Therefore, he says you have to have an area of 4 in your stage. Okay? So now why 4? Because the Chacham decided that an area of 4 Tvachim by 4 Tvachim is considered a very significant area. In Hilchot Shabbat, an area of 4 by 4 is considered a significant chashuv area. Okay? And therefore, so they said, when this comes down, we want it to be coming down, the mechitza should come down for an area that is chashuv, that is significant. And that's going to be an area of 4 Tvachim by 4 Tvachim. Okay, so the Gemara says like this. Loy, says the Gemara, no, I have a different way of explaining the machloket of 1 and 4. The kuli alma kasavi mutal. Everyone holds you're allowed to use the area underneath the Korah, because as I said before, the Korah, even if you hold that it works because it's a mechitza, because it comes down, it's the outer part of the Korah that does it, and therefore you would be allowed to carry inside. So why does Abaye say you need 4? Because they're arguing about the following. Mar savar Korah mishum heker. Umar savar Korah mishum mechitza. Okay? Rav Yosef says the Korah is because of heker. Heker means, this is a very famous machlokes, it's mentioned here first time. Heker means the way the Korah works is nothing to do with what I told you till now. Heker means it's not that just you have to be able to see the Korah. That is the correction. Before I told you, you have to be able to see it. The Chacham wants you to be able to see it. But the way it works, the mechanics is that it's a mechitza. It comes down. Now the Gemara is saying that Rav Yosef holds, no. Do you know how it corrects the area of the mavui? It's like this, Lior. It's the fact that you see it. So it reminds you, it's just a reminder. Remember, this is the last part of the mavui. Do not continue on into Rishut Rabim. And don't differentiate between this area and the next area, which is Rishut Rabim. That's asur. This is okay. So if it's all about heker, just to be able to see something, so therefore he says, since I raised the area, a small area underneath the Korah, in a way that I can see the Korah, there is one area that I can see the Korah. My eye will catch it. That's enough.
Because why?
Since beneath the Korah, I raised the floor. So if I would stand on that area, I would be able to catch it because my eye can catch things up to 20. So there's an area that I can catch the Korah. Once there's an area that I can catch the Korah, now the Korah has worked, not because it comes down with that trick. It doesn't come down at all. It's not working with that. But there's an area I can see it. That's how it works. Right? Now my indicator is on. The light is on. I can see it. Okay. But Abaye says, no, you need 4 Tvachim. You know why? Because Korah mishum mechitza. Because the way it works is the way I was telling you before. It works as a mechitza. It actually comes down. So therefore, the Chacham said like this. When it's higher than 20 amot, it doesn't even start. Listen to this. When a Korah is higher than 20 amot, it can't even start coming down. Because it doesn't have anything to do. It's not a mechitza at all. It doesn't get that trick. You know that trick, that button that we said before that Hashem makes. The mouth of the Korah, the mouth is this side here, just continue downwards. That doesn't happen if it's a Korah above an area that has an airspace of more than 20. And therefore, it's not considered a mechitza at all. It's not even the beginning of a mechitza at all. Therefore, a mechitza, listen to this, a partition has to be a partition to an area of 4 by 4. But the mechitza that's higher than 20 is not a mechitza of any area that's 4 by 4 because it's too high above them. It doesn't have anything to do with them. So if you want the mechitza to have something to do with its floor, you have to raise the floor. How much of an area do you have to raise? The amount of an area that is needed for a mechitza to be rendered as a mechitza. What is an area that gets a mechitza? An area of 4 by 4. According to Rav Yosef, we're not trying to make mechitzot. We don't need mechitza. I don't need you to partition the fourth side. That's not what the Chacham said. The Chacham said, you have three sides, midoraita, that's good. We just want a heker, and then you can carry. So once you have that heker, it's good. So how do I have a heker? It's too high. I can't catch it. All right. So make it one tefach, exactly the height of there, and I can catch it over there, and that's fine. Okay. The Iba is saying, and others say, the Kuli Almo, Kodim Mishum Heker. Now the Gemara is going all the other way. Everyone holds that it's all about just catching it, and it's just like a light that's flashing and telling you to be careful and to know that this is the end of the Mavli, and it's not a Reshut Rabbin. The Machlokes is if you compare the Heker Shalmaila to the Heker of Mata, the above Heker to the bottom Heker. Heker means noticeable. The Marisavram Rinon, Heker Shalmata ke Heker Shalmalom. One says, Rav Yosef says, the Heker Shalmata, the bottom stage that you're building, is exactly like the above sign. The sign above is one tefach. The sign above, beneath, is one tefach. Meaning the bottom part has to be more. Why? Because most people can't really catch that sign. In order to make an area, a real area that's chashuv enough to say that this whole area was caught by the people, you have to have an area, a large enough area that will be raised that people can catch the sign. So what is that area? The area is 4 tefachim. Okay? Because that's a makom chashuv. Okay. Says the Gemara, the Iba is another pshat in the machloket of 1 and 4. Is the kuli alma amiron heker shalmata ke heker shalmayla. Everyone holds that the bottom heker is good enough if it's one, like the top one. So then why was Abaya not satisfied with one tefach? The hocha b'gzeira shema yifcha is committed. And the machlokes is, if there's a gzeira, do we make a gzeira that it might get smaller? If you make it one tefach, what happens if it gets, it gets ruined a little bit, and now it's less than a tefach? Now you don't have an area as wide as the Korah that people can catch. So now the Korah won't work at all. So we were worried, the Chacham were worried that's playing with fire, because it might just get a little bit shorter than a tefach, and then you're done. So therefore, you need more than a tefach. Once they already said you need more than a tefach, then they already decided to establish a chashuv area, an area that's chashuv, that's significant. And they said 4 tefachim. Rabbi Yosef said they never were worried about this. And therefore, even if it gets smaller, there's no problem. Okay? Fine. Now the Gemara changes the exact same question, but the reverse, which is, let's say, okay, now we spoke about the height. So we basically had a machloket, Abaye and Rav Yosef, if when you shorten the height, not by lowering the korah, but by raising the floor, how wide does that floor have to be? 1 tefach or 4 tefach? And we had 4 ways to explain why they're arguing. Either, we'll say them very quickly again, mechitza, everybody holds this mechitza. And it's coming down, but the question is, where does it come down? The inside or the outside? So if it comes down on the inside, then 1 tefach is good enough, or on the outside, 1 tefach is enough because you can carry there. The other one says on the inside, and therefore you need a larger area that extends outwards, that it's going to be a mechitza for. The other one said, the other pshat was that the machlokes is heker or mechitza. And the third pshat was they both hold mechitza, but they wanted to know if heker shalmayla was like heker shalmata. And the fourth pshat was that it was a gzeira that it might become shorter. Okay, but what about if you have the opposite? What is the shortest that a mavli can be in order for that korah to work? It has to be the Mishnah, you said, actually we didn't say in the Mishnah, but we already mentioned before from the Braita that it can't be lower than 10 tfachim, just like by Sukkah. 10 tfachim is about 40 inches. It's about a little higher than this table. If the walls are less than the 10 tfachim, and you put this thing, it's like almost like a crawling space. But that's the fourth side that's opened. Then the Korah doesn't work. That's not an entranceway. Okay? So it doesn't work. So the question is, but I want to carry my alleyway, and it's surrounded by three sides. But the problem is the fourth side, the walls are up to here. So if I'm putting a Korah across, it's not going to help, because the height of the Korah and the walls are, let's say, 8 or 9 tfachim. So you're not correcting the mavui that way. But that means I'm not going to be able to carry it. The Chacham are going to say that my entire mavui now is prohibited because you could lead yourself right into the Rishut Rabim. Yeah, that's the problem. So what do I do? So this guy came up with an amazing idea. Ingenious. He says, so either they could build up the walls higher than 10 tfachim and then put the Korah. This guy said, let's excavate. We're going to excavate the ground. And now the walls will suddenly be more than 10 tfachim. Beautiful idea. It's a great idea. Question is, if I excavate the first area, do I have to excavate the whole street? Part of the street? Or only beneath the Korah? To make it 10 tfachim right beneath the Korah. It's the same question. Instead of raising, it's lowering the ground, right? Got it? You got that, Shiloh? So the question is, how wide and how deep does the excavation have to go? Okay? So the Gemara says, Hoya pachot me'aserat tfachim. We're by the 2 dots now. Yeah? Haya pachot me'aserat tfachim. If it was less than 10 tfachim, v'chakak bo, and he dug into the ground beneath the Korah lehashlimu la'asara, in order to complete 10 tfachim. Kama chokek, how much does he have to excavate? Kama chokek, kama detzarchli. What do you mean, how much? As much as he needs to get to 10. If it was only 5 tachim, he has to excavate 5 tachim. So the Gemara says, Ela mishcho bekam. How wide and how deep, not deep into the ground, but meaning wide into the mavui, does the excavation that he's digging from the entrance of the mavui into the mavui have to go? Okay? So Rav Yosef Omer be'abo, Abaye Omer be'arba amos. Wow. So here we have different numbers here. Okay, in the last machlokes, the numbers were 1 tefach, the height, which is the width of the Korah itself, or 4 tefachim, which is more of a significant area. But here, okay, and the reason why that machlokes was that, because the walls were great walls. Grand walls going up 20 amot. The walls were very good. Here, however, the problem is that your walls are not even partitions yet, because they're less than 10 tefachim. And therefore, a mavui that doesn't have walls, the walls are they're very, very cute. There's no walls here at all. They're 9. They're just like, they're not called walls. In halacha, they're not walls, because they're 9 tefachim. That's not a mavui at all. That's not an alleyway. Therefore, Rav Yosef holds, even Rav Yosef, which said 1 tefach before, he gets much more machmir in this case. And he says that I have to create a wall for an area of at least 4 tefachim. To say that I have a wall that's serving a mavui, a proper mavui. A mavui has to have walls, and the mavoi has to be at least 4 tefachim wide. If I only made walls in one little tefach area that are 10 tefachim wide, that's not an area, that's choshev. So, what is the smallest area of a mavoi, of an alleyway? 4 tefachim. So my walls have to be halachic walls for at least 4 tefachim. And that's what Rav Yosef says, this area that you, I don't know if you have a picture there. There's a very nice picture here.
Yeah.
You have it? Mine might be a little newer. This is less than 10 tefachim, right? This is less than 10 tefachim. But now, so I want to create an area that this wall will actually be more than 10 tefachim. Okay? So what do? I excavate inside. Now these bottom rocks are now part of the wall. So now instead of just being 8 tefachim, now I have the bottom part of the wall, 10 tefachim. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
But how deep and how into the mavoi, I have to create a whole mavoi area. I have to create a mavoi area, not just underneath the beam, but deeper in, 4 tefachim in, so that the walls serve as walls for a mavoi. You understand? Okay. So, and now I have a real mavoi with walls going in. That's what Rav Yosef holds. However, Abaya says, you know how deep it has to be? 4 amot. 4 amot, which is 24 tvachim. Okay?
So, what does that mean if it's 34 something? What are you trying to say by saying that?
What am I saying by saying that?
Yeah.
That, by the way, what is 24? What's 24 divided by 4?
6.
6. That's 6 times the amount of Abaya. Okay? 6 times the amount of. Now, why in the world would Abaya need such a long space? So the Gemara is like this. Let's say that they're arguing about Rabbi Ami Rabbi Asi's statement. The Itmar. If you have a mavoi that was breached on its, I don't know if you have that picture, because it's very important. Pictures in Erevin, pictures are like very important. Yeah? Yeah. It was broken into. This one, they make it very, like a breach, but the point is it was broken into, and it goes near all the way up to the edge where the Korah is. Itam Misher Rabbi Ami Rabbi Asi was stated in their name, Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi in Yeshom Pasarbo. If you have a remaining wall past the Korah that is 4 tefachim, you understand what I mean? Which means there was somewhat of the breach, the breach left over 4 tefachim of the wall that reaches the Korah, matir. So the Korah still can allow carrying throughout the entire mavoi as if everything is fine and dandy, as if before it got that hole. Everything's fine. Because you still have a wall of 4 tefachim that juts out after the Korah into the mavoi, which is the shiur, which is the measurement of a mavoi. That is the measurement of a mavoi. 4 tefachim. The pirza ad es. And even if the hole, the breach, was 10 amot, up to 10 amot wide, there's no problem, because I still have the wall of 4. So my mavoi still has a wall of 4, which is the area of a mavoi. And then there's a big, large breach after that. Okay, a large breach is fine. That's another entrance. Not the main entrance, but it's another entrance. It's fine. Therefore, my main entrance is still the classic front entrance. I have a Korah on top. I have a wall after that that serves as a wall to an area of 4 tefachim, which is perfect because the wall goes 4 tefachim. Everything's fine. V'im lav, but if that wall doesn't extend 4 tefachim into the mavoi, then pachot mishlosha matir. Then the only time that breach will not cause problems. Now it's the opposite. Now it becomes real problematic. And the only time it won't cause a problem is if it's so tiny, that breach, that it's less than 3 tfachim. Any breach, any space less than 3 tfachim is always considered a non-space because of the din of love. Everything just gets attached. It's as if it's not there, it doesn't exist. But once it exists, shlosha, because it's already 3 tvachim, eino matir. Your korah doesn't help. Why? Because we're talking about a case again where the wall did not extend 4 tvachim in. And what's the reason for that? Abotai? The reason is because that bridge now is not considered just another entryway into the mavli, that breach. Since that breached into the first 4 tfachim of the mavli, and now you're not even left with the wall that's 4 tfachim. Now that becomes the main entrance for people. The people will always use that entrance as the main entrance because there's nothing blocking them off. There's not even a wall that's 4 tfachim wide. They're going to enter through the breach, and therefore the korah now cannot help. Why can't the korah help? Because the halacha of the korah was made. This is what it was made for. This is very important for the whole area. The korah was made at the main entrance of the mavli, not just as in a hole, in some entryway to the mavli, at the main entry. But now things just changed because the plans changed. People are now going to use the main entry at the side area. If this little wall here is not 4 tfachim, this little one, people will now use that breach as the main entryway, and it's very nice that you have a korah on the other way, but this becomes the main now.
Can't you put the Korah on the other wall? Can't you move this?
No,
this
because
over
then
here?
you'll have that whole side. Then you'll have the korah here. So this side, and this side are closed now. Maybe. The problem is you can have this whole side open now. The 4th side is going to be open, right? No, it's a good question. That's the answer, right? So now that korah, but we're talking about, but you didn't move the korah anyways. Okay, so now that korah is not going to work. So, therefore, but if you had a board or the wall itself remained to be 4 tefachim, or you put a board there that's 4 tefachim, at the end of the day, you still have a little mavui that the korah is working for. As long as this remains 4, so this entryway will have a korah and it will work for 4 tefachim and everything will be fine. And from the words of Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Yassi, we see that the shear of a mavui is 4 tefachim. So the Rabbi Yosef is the Rabbi Ami. La Abaye less the Rabbi Ami. Abaye says that's not true. A mavui is not enough. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Yassi are saying as long as that wall is 4 tefachim, that's the shear, that's the measurement of a mavui. So my korah now is serving this entry which goes in 4 tefachim because the wall partitions off 4 tefachim, and that is the measurement of a classic alleyway, the minimum measurement. But Abaye says no. A mavui has to be 4 amot in. Amalach Abaye. And Abaye less than Rabbi. So Amalach Abaye could say no. It's not true. I really agree with Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Yassi that in that story you can have the wall to be 4 tefachim and that's enough. Hossam, why? Because soif mavui. Because there I already had a mavui. The mavui was a gorgeous mavui. It was a beautiful mavui. Everything is beautiful, right? Goes through. Now a breach happens. Something happens, trying to break my mavui. So as long as I can still maintain my old mavui 4 tefachim, because that wall on the side still serves as a wall to 4 tefachim, so it still maintains and sustains the old existing mavui. Okay? Then everything's good. Hachat chilas mavui. But here in the din of Abaye, chilas mavui. Here Abaye's case and Rabbi Yosef's case is we're trying to create a mavui. Because remember, our mavui is not even a mavui since it's not 10 tefachim deep. So I'm trying to excavate. Oh, you want to excavate? You want to create a brand new mavi? A brand new mavi needs arba amis in iloy. For a mavi, initially to become a mavi, it needs 4 amot and not just 4 tfachim. How do I know that the initial mavi needs 4 amot? The Tanya. Ein mavi nita belechi v'ker achiyu batim v'chatzeres psuchim l'sech. A mavi cannot become permitted to carry with a lechi that's standing vertical stick or a korah, the beam, the cross beam, until you have 2 courtyards, and each one of the courtyards has at least 2 houses, and now those 2 houses lead into the courtyard, and now you have 2 of those courtyards that lead into the mavui. Now that is a mavui, that is a real alleyway. And that is the alleyway that the Chachamim created this heter called Olechi Rekoyer to allow you to carry. If you're telling me that a mavui, an initial mavui, it's enough, it suffices to be 4 tefachim long, deep. How could you have 2 chatzerot, 2 courtyards, entering into a mavui that's only 4 tefachim deep?
What's wrong with that? I don't understand what's wrong.
The problem is that every chotzer has to have an entranceway into the mavui. Okay. Now, if the whole mavui was going in 4 tefachim, that's the whole mavui. 4 tefachim is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have walls here. Okay. Now this is cut off. This is back wall. Walls. Now you have to have 2 chatzeres coming in. An entry. How big is the entryway? Now here's where the courtyards are. Here are the walls of my street. The walls are this big. So now you have an entry, you have to rip this out. So you don't have walls here. Right. You just destroyed the whole mavui. How's it possible? If you tell me that it's 4 amot long, 4 amot is about the length from here to the end of that table. Okay, about 8 feet. Maybe it's a little less. So then I can have 2 openings from chatzeres coming in the middle of the wall, 2 little openings. But I still have a wall. But if it's just 4 tefachim, so then it just broke the walls. So that is the chitema. And if you're going to try to answer for Rav Yosef and say, Rav Yosef, that said it's enough to have 4 tefachim, he'll tell you the pasuk la b'doifin emtzai that you know what you did. I'll tell you what you do. You have 2 of them coming from the back wall. The chatzeres will open up from the back wall. And the picture will be like this. This picture here. That is this. The entranceway won't come from the side. This is only going to be 4 tefachim. But here, you'll have the 2 entrances coming in from the back wall. Maybe that's what Rav Yosef will tell you. The mavui won't get breached on the sides. The sides will only be 4 tefachim. And they won't get breached, they only come in from the back wall. So the Gemara says that doesn't make sense either, because V'ha'amar Rav Nachman, Naktinon, Ezeu mavui shenita b'lechi v'koiro. Rav Nachman said, what type of mavui gets corrected and permitted through a lechi v'koiro? Kol she'orka yoser aroch boy. Ubatim v'chatzeres psuchim l'seichel. If its length is more than its width. Its length is more than its width. So if you have a mavui that's 4 tefachim deep, like Rav Yosef, it has to have its width, okay, which is the back wall, has to be less than 4 tvachim. If it's less than 4 tvachim, the back wall cannot even allow one entryway, because an entryway is 4 tvachim. The only way to make this possible, Michael, is if the back wall, how am I going to have 2 chatzerot entering this little bubble that I'm trying to permit? Is if the back wall is much wider than the side walls, right? The back wall is 4 here, I have 2. And this one is just 4 deep inside. But if you're telling me that the width, that the depth here has to be more than the back, so that this is not a proper case in order to be permitted. This has to be longer than this. So this has to be less than 4 tvachim. That doesn't allow for even one chotzer to get involved. So therefore, we're back to the kasha of Yosef. How could you have a mother that's only 4 tvachim? Rav Yosef will answer you, no. The pasach le bekeren zavis. Rav Yosef will tell you, no. It's possible to have a mother that's only 4 tvachim deep into the mother. And still you can have 2 chatzeris that enter it. How? Because the chatzeris are on the corner of the mother. And basically the picture is as follows. Maybe look at picture number 2, is easier to understand. It's Taisus. This picture. No, not that one. This one right here. That one. So therefore, you have an entryway of 4 tvachim deep because you're using the corners, the diagonal part, for the chotzer to enter. And the initial mavai's area is only also 4 tvachim deep. Like it is possible, meaning to say, as long as it says this is possible, that is the smallest mavai. Look, the mavai is only 4 tvachim deep. Yeah. Okay, and here are this is the wall that little thin wall divides the 2 chatzeris, but the chatzeris are able to enter from the corners. They also have an entryway of 4 tvachim deep. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now you have a wall that goes here, wall here, you have entryways over here. So you're able to enter. Okay. Omar Abaye said, "Meno amin el do Omar Abaye Chamar Mavhuna lechi abilt midoyte shel mavui pochois me'aba amois nidoy mishum lechi ve'ened tzarech lechi achel atiroi." Abaye says another proof. How do I know that a mavui is only for amois? Because Rami Bar Choma said in the name of Rav Huna, lechi abilt midoyte shel mavui. Let's say you have, one of the ways to permit this area, we're only going to go till the 2 dots today. Just I have, okay? A lechi is a vertical stick. Well, what happens, so the normal case of a lechi is that. Okay? But what about if I don't have that? I want to use something else. Look what I have. Look at the end of my wall. My wall itself becomes a lechi. It juts out. Okay? So could I use that as a lechi? Or do I say, no, that wasn't made to be an indicator. That's part of the wall. That wall is just too long. It's going into the entryway. So the halacha is in the name of Rami Bar Choma, in the name of Rav Huna, lechi haboilet, a protruding. I would probably say the word protruding. Midoifnei shel mavui. I get the right word? Lechi haboilet.
They call it a.
Okay. Lechi haboilet. What is it?
We're here, Rav Yosef, right?
Yeah, this one. Protrudes. Very good.
Here's the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom one. Lechi haboilet midoifnei shel mavui. If the length of that protrusion is less than 4 amot, which means then neither mishum lechi. The ein tzarech lechi achla atiri. Because even if it wasn't made specifically for the permission of the mavui, it's okay.
You can use it.
Yeah, but arba amos. But if it's more than 4 amot, neither mishum mavui. No, but if it's 4 amot or more, neither mishum mavui. Yeah, so that we said first. Pachas me'arba amos neither mishum lechi. You don't need it because it will serve as the lechi. But arba amos, once it's more than 4 amot, nidoin mishum mavui. Then we don't view it as a lechi. We view it as part of the wall of the mavui. V'tzarech lechi achal atir, and therefore I'll need another lechi. And the reason is because since the area of the wall is 4 amot, that is the size of a complete mavui. And therefore we cannot view that part of the wall as being a lechi, an addition, but rather as a mavui in itself. And it's not, meaning you put it here, you built it here to be a wall. And it also has the length of a mavui in itself. So therefore, you can't rely on such a lechi to allow one to carry it, just because I'm thinking that it could be considered a lechi and not a wall. Because in fact, in what it actually is a real kaisel of the mavi. Therefore, you need another lechi to be matter. And from there, Abaye proves that a mavi has to be 4 amot. Rav Yosef will tell you that halacha makes sense, even though a mavi is 4 tfachim. He says, which means when I have a mavi, I feel there's 2 halachas. When does a lechi turn into a non-lechi, and it turns into the wall of a mavi? That you need to be 4 amot, because then it won't look like a lechi at all. But that doesn't mean that the reason for that is because a mavi is 4 amot. A mavi is 4 tfachim, but a lechi will only lose its lechi status when it's 4 amot long, because we won't view it as a protrusion, but rather as the wall of a mavi in itself. We'll stop here. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll have to continue. Motzei Shabbat, and I just want to remind everyone that Motzei Shabbat, please. There's a beautiful siyum on the Sechet Shabbat. We will begin with the siyum at the beginning of the night, and so please bring some food wherever you are situated and join the simcha. Shabbat shalom u'barach.
Shabbat shalom u'barach.
Shabbat shalom.